Hey, it's Mike from TechPB, and we're going to try to tackle today sponsorship, okay, and getting sponsored and how to get sponsored and how to keep your sponsors, and we're just going to kind of tackle that right now. And I'm going to break the sponsorship category into two different brackets, okay? You've got sponsorships that are within the industry, which are generally pretty good, and then sponsors outside the industry, which are generally really, really good. The biggest thing that you have up against, that you're running up against as a paintball player, paintball team trying to get sponsored is you have to understand outside of paintball, outside of our little world that's out in the middle of the universe, our paintball world, nobody gives a shit about paintball, okay? Nobody understands it. Nobody is interested in it. Nobody knows anything about it. Nobody gives a shit about paintball. Period. End of story. They don't. I've been playing this for 18 years. Most of the time when I'm in a gas station after I'm playing, people ask what I'm doing. I don't even tell them I play paintball. I tell them I was dirt bike riding or something like that, okay? So that's your first objection that you have to overcome when you're going into, let's say, a business like a local restaurant or something like that, trying to promote, trying to get sponsorship money, is that, first off, you're going to want to pick somebody that knows something about paintball, okay? Ideally, probably starting with your own little circle of friends and circle of teammates and the parents and stuff like that that are with your team, or friends and stuff like that that own businesses. If they understand paintball, that's a step in the right direction. I've seen, you go around a million different businesses, nobody knows anything about it, but you may have, uncles or relatives or something like that that have seen you at tournaments, seen you play. And, they may be an accounting firm or something like that, and they may be willing to sponsor. So the first thing you need to do is figure out the person that you have targeted that you're going to propose for sponsor. Do they know anything about paintball? If they don't know anything about paintball, I probably wouldn't even waste my time. If they don't know anything about it, they don't understand it, they haven't, at least I've seen it on TV or anything like that. If they don't know anything about paintball, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's the first step if you're trying to qualify somebody as a potential sponsor. The second thing that you're up against is that, and this is inside the industry and out, people that, and I'm talking about cash sponsors, okay? I'm not talking about, getting things at cost and stuff like that, which is good. Every little bit helps, okay? If you can save a couple bucks here on paint, a couple bucks there on guns, that helps. But the ones that everybody seems to be most interested in is the cash sponsors, and that's what I'm going to really try to focus on today. Cash sponsorship. People that write checks for cash sponsorship, and I've gotten them before. It's very rare, and I'm very appreciative, but getting cash sponsorship, you have to understand that you're competing with traditional marketing. It comes out of their marketing dollar. It comes out of their advertising dollar. Let's say a company's got $1,000 set aside, $1,000 that they set aside for, they can either run an ad like in a newspaper like this. So let's try to find an ad in here. Okay, here we go. Brandon Ford. Okay, this is a local car dealership right here. I mean, they probably spent maybe $1,000 or more to run this advertisement in this paper. And you look at this. It's got all their cars that they're selling and everything. It's got directions on how to get there and this, that, and the other. So they can take $1,000 and run an advertisement like this in a local paper, which is probably going to get viewed from, hundreds of thousands of people are going to get this newspaper all throughout Tampa and all throughout the greater Tampa area. Or they can take $1,000 and write it to your paintball team, which is probably a group of middle schoolers, and see who's going to get the most business in. Okay, a bunch of middle schoolers that are ungrateful, that don't give a shit, that are just going to go out and play a tournament and come back, probably not even send them a thank you card. Or take that $1,000 and run up this full-page ad. So what do you think most businesses are going to do? They're going to run a full-page ad. And this is honest to God what you're up against, okay? If I was a business owner, you'd have to be fucking crazy to sponsor a paintball team. I might as well just take that money and bet it in Vegas, man. Bet it on black in the middle third, right on the roulette table. I mean, just throw it right down the toilet. Because how can a paintball team playing a sport that nobody cares about, nobody knows anything about, with no publicity, nobody, outside of people that work and live in paintball, nobody else goes to these tournaments. No one else cares. So how could I take $1,000 and invest it in that? How is that going to give me the same amount of returns as this? So that's the first thing that you're up against when you're going out there to get sponsored. I mean, most people don't want to just write checks because you're you or your team is your team. They need some sort of, it's an investment, okay? When they take that $1,000 and they have to justify to their partners and their other investors, and they say, you know what, I had $1,000. Instead of running a full-page ad in the Tampa Tribune, I decided to give this paintball team $1,000. Well, what did you get back for it? I didn't get anything back for it. You didn't even get a thank you card? No, I didn't even get a thank you card. So that is the first thing that you're up against when you're looking for cash sponsors. Now, it's not that hope is not lost. Okay, there are still things that you can do to try to get sponsored. The most important thing when you're going out there to propose a sponsorship to somebody or pitch them to sponsor your team is you need to figure out creative and innovative ways to promote their business. I'm going to say that one more time. You have to figure out innovative ways of promoting their business. Okay, if they can write you a check of $1,000, and that's $1,000 in profit. Okay, so which if it's a restaurant, think about McDonald's cheeseburgers. Okay, they sell the cheeseburger for 70 cents. 40 cents of it costs to make it. Takes 30 cents pretty much is their gross profit, which they've got to pay their employees or each one. They're probably getting a penny per cheeseburger. So how many cheeseburgers they got to sell to get $1,000 in profit? The profit that they have set aside for advertising, for what you're trying to get into, you need to basically say they're going to take $1,000, write a check to my team, but I need to figure out a way how to get them back $1,500 in profit. So that's what you're up against when you go out there for sponsorship, which is why it's almost impossible to get sponsored. There'll be always I see them all the time. See them all 18 years I've been playing paintball. Well, you don't know shit. We're sponsored, da 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 da. And then I look at them 2 months later, they broke up because their sponsors wrote them a check once, never did it again. Everybody on the team got pissed and they all quit. It happens to professional teams. It happens to everybody. So that's what you're up against. That for the check that they are writing you, you have to figure out how to make that check back and more in promoting their business and driving their business. Okay, so there are innovative ways that you can do. What are some of the things you can do? Take a look at your team and see, is anybody good at making web pages? Anybody good at making graphics? Anybody, does maybe one of your parents, maybe like accountants or something like that, maybe offer services at a discount. You can kind of barter trade. Can maybe you guys go out and hand out flyers at a local supermarket parking lot? Go and put a couple flyers on the windshield and stuff like that for an afternoon. So you have to figure out the biggest competitor that you have for sponsorship is the traditional media print, radio, television, newspaper, flyers, and stuff like that, where that company can take $1,000 and put it towards that to promote their business, or they can take $1,000 and put it towards a paintball team and see if that paintball team can promote their business. But I'm telling you right now, paintball is a pay-as-you-go sport, man. It is a pay-as-you-go sport. Even the professional teams run out of money, and people get sick and tired of cutting checks for paintball because nobody gives a shit about this sport. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's the cold, honest truth about paintball. Other than the people that are involved in the industry, that work in the industry, who play in the industry, the players, outside of that, nobody gives a shit about paintball. So you got to not only overcome that objection, that their first visualization of paintball is a bunch of teenagers going around shooting cars. Yeah, that's what I want to promote my business with. And the second thing is how can, if I give you guys $1,000, how can you guys generate more leads and more business coming into me than running a traditional newspaper print? So that's what you're up against, and am I the master of sponsorship? Hell no, man. I've paid my own way, through paintball, for the most part. I mean, I've gotten some sponsors here and there, and I've been very grateful and very appreciative to them, but it comes in spurts and it doesn't last forever. So that's what you're up against with sponsorship. So you need to put together some sort of good written plan when you're going in to propose a company to write your company check, to write your paintball team checks. You better have a good, concise, clear-cut marketing plan on how to promote their business for them writing you that check. Other than that, they're going to tell you to go tug it. So hope this helps clears up some sponsorships. Good luck.